Okay. Hello, everybody. I have got a super duper amazing call for you tonight. This is one of our 3 people guest panels, and I have some seriously hot questions for these guys. Like fast fire, we're going to go through the period of each of their lives so fast you're not going to know what hit you. And during the journey, you're going to find yourselves, I guarantee, in 1 or 2 spots and maybe learn from these 3 hugely talented, hugely successful fellow narrators of ours. So I'm going to start. I'm going to randomly start. It's not always going to be the first person first. I would like to start this time with, I'm just going to start in order of who logged in. So I've got you on the screen. I'm going to start with Nikki. Nikki, can you please cough a little bit or something so it brings you up on the screen?
Can you hear
Okay,
me?
now I'm going to give you an example, Nikki. Wait, cough louder. There you go. Okay, I'm going to give you an example just because it's the first question so you understand what I'm asking about. The first question is, describe your childhood in 5 words. So for example, mine would be acting, TV, circus, acting, TV, circus, musicals, and reading. Describe your life in 5 words, your childhood, up until the age of 15.
Acting, travel, language. I don't know. 5 is hard in just 5 simple words. Acting, travel, language.
Things you loved, things you got in trouble
I mean,
for.
I was like, I was like a wild, crazy kid. So just, as any kid is before they turn 15.
Were you a tomboy or were you?
Yeah, I was a tomboy.
Okay, we got our 5th word.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. And see why I'm not making you guys be first up for every question. So, because these 2 now have had time to shine and sparkle their answers. So let's go to Stephanie.
I still don't. I mean, I'm still drawing a blank. I would say nerd, tomboy, total bookworm. Um, what do you call it? Not transient, like constantly moving. I don't know how to say that. And
Moving as in physically moving or
unset
moving as in traveling?
physically, no, physically like moving location. So unsettled, maybe unsettled, and challenging.
Got it. Got it. Amanda, your childhood up to 15, 14, 15 in 5 words, please. Cough for the camera.
Okay, I have family, chaos, Southern, middle child.
Okay. Now that I've got you here, I'm going to start you on the second question. We've got you to high school now. You're like a
Okay.
fully formed adult figuring out what you want in this world. And at some point, you're going to enter that time where you don't know who you are, what you're doing, and you're going to embark out in the world. What did you try first? What did you think you were going to become? What career did you envision yourself in? Who did you think you were when you left high school?
That is so easy. I'm able to just rattle it right off. I wanted to be a news anchor. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to do it since I was like 5 years old.
And were you confident? Were you sure of yourself that you were going to do it, that you'd be fine?
Oh,
Were you
yeah,
worried?
until about my sophomore, junior year of college. And then
Okay.
it all went to, you know how it goes. But yes.
Yeah, we're gonna get the it all went to, part very
But yeah,
soon.
I was going to be a news anchor. That's what I wanted.
News anchor. Got it. Thank you very much, Amanda. Stephanie.
Well, I had wanted to be a veterinarian since I was little because I've always loved animals so much. But when I got into high school, I really had a really hard time because I was really good at school. So I was good at a lot of different things and I had an interest in a lot of different things. So it was very hard for me to figure out what I wanted to do. So I entered the Miss Shamrock High School pageant because my friends were like, you should do this, you should do this. And I was like, really? I mean, I was like, it was nothing like I would ever have done in my entire life. And I did put like a little scene on. I acted, and then after that, I kind of gravitated in that direction. So kind of I was an English major and I was a broadcast journalism major because I also love the idea of being an anchor, a news work, being on the news, a news anchor. Yeah, and then kind of just fell into acting, fell into theater at the
Did
end.
you feel like everything was going to work out deep down in your bones, or were you scared or anxious at all?
No, the way I grew up, I kind of had to be very resilient. So I just felt like I could just do anything I put my mind to. Really. I'm like, yeah, maybe it would be, I mean, it might be complicated or difficult or whatever, but it would work out. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it'd be okay.
Okay. Nikki.
Okay, so for me, like growing up, I was always like tall, lanky, kind of like the ugly duckling, never fit anything. And then in high
I'm going to
school,
ask you to shout at us because we're losing
sorry,
you. Okay,
is it better if I get
wonderful.
closer to my mic?
Perfect, perfect.
And then in high school, like that tall, skinny, lankiness just blossomed. And I kind of I did what Stephanie did. I started out in a beauty pageant and won the beauty pageant, Miss Ventura Teen County.
Oh, congratulations.
I mean, I was like 14. So literally left the week after I graduated high school, I got on a plane and went to Spain, and I thought I was going to be modeling. Like, it was the time of the supermodel. But, after doing that for about 2.5 years, you realize it's not as easy as you think it is. It was a lot of hard work and a lot of rejection. And so that did not last. But that's what I thought I was going to do, into the world of high fashion modeling.
Did you feel really confident and like, oh my God, this is my dream and I'm actually doing it?
Yeah, I
Or is
felt
it like,
confident
how the
while I
hell am
was
I going to
doing
do
it.
this?
But it's just, it's like the acting business, it's very competitive, and a lot of rejection, and you have to have a thick skin for that. And after a while, especially when you're only being compared on your looks, has nothing to do with anything else. So after a while that gets to you, and you realize there's more to life, and I realized there was more that I wanted out of my life. So went to college. And so what I thought I was going to do didn't happen. I ended up being an elementary school teacher for years after that. So
Okay, now this is a good time since I've got you up on the screen. I'm going to throw the next question at you because that's a great segue.
yeah.
Tell me about what happened when you got out in the world and faced your first obstacle, like the hardest one, like the one that made you start to, like, you had a choice. You could lose your confidence or you could keep going or reinvent yourself. Tell me about that moment and what you told yourself about the journey and what caused you to take the path you took.
Well, that was basically what I was just saying. Like, I got to a point where my life felt very unsatisfying and superficial. And I went back to Los Angeles where I grew up, and it wasn't like a quick change of life, but I just started slowly. I went back to school slowly, and, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I mean, nobody really knows what they want to do at that age. So went back to school and I always have had a love of language. My mom is German. I grew up I wouldn't say bilingual because she didn't really speak to me in German, but she's German. We would visit her family every summer. So language was like a huge thing. And so when I moved to Spain after high school, I was immersed in it and I learned Spanish like that. So that was one thing that I had that I was going to do something with. And I decided to go get my certificate to become a teacher. And I taught the children. I was like a second language learner teacher. I taught the kids that couldn't speak English, and I could use my Spanish for that. I always taught the kids who needed the extra. That was my goal. Like, I always wanted to give to those who needed it the most. So
So did you have dark souls of the night in Los Angeles? Were you like waiting table? Because LA can be hard when you're not sure of yourself, especially if you've been in an industry that's completely centered on looks, because you walk into a room in LA, the first thing they do is look at you, and the second thing they do is ask what you do.
Yeah.
Because they don't, to decide whether you're worth talking to.
Well, when I made the change and decided I didn't want to do that anymore, I moved to San Diego. I had to completely separate myself from Los Angeles because that you can't I couldn't make that change because all my friends were there. It was still, it's the 80s, early 90s, like very happening time. And so I removed myself and went to San Diego. And that was like when my whole life changed direction.
Okay, thank you very much. We will leave you here. It's a good place to leave you. That's a good part of life when everything's just beginning. I love it. It's my favorite part of the journey. Thank you very much, Nikki. Stephanie. Oh, I muted you.
Okay.
Cough or
Where were
something.
we?
Wonderful.
Okay.
So we've got you as far as we've got you. You're multi-talented, you're interested in a million things, you're resilient, you're smart, you've got the world at your feet. Eventually, things get hard for everyone. I think I've only ever had one person that was like, nope, nothing ever got hard for me. And
I mean, it's all relative, right? I mean, so I
yeah,
graduated from college with a degree in theater, and then I was just waiting. I was bartending. I learned how to bartend when I was at school, and I bartended when I got out. And I ended up backpacking after college, and I met a girl and her boyfriend, and she was like, if you're going to be an actor, you should come out to LA and we'll be roommates." And I was like, okay. So I just packed up all my shit in my Honda, and I drove 3 days across the country to LA to follow my dream. Um,
wait. I want to ask a question about that.
yeah, yeah.
What was that trip like? What was that? Was that like dreaming
So
about your life, planning your life? Were you listening to the radio and music the whole time?
it was the radio the whole time, and the whole thing was is that I didn't do it in 3 consecutive days. I did they're basically like the first day was, I guess, 12 hours. It was from Atlanta to Dallas. My dad lives in Dallas. So I stayed with him for a few days until I went on. And then the rest was just like 16-hour days. So, you like learn the trucker signals and, all of that. And my mom had gotten me this gigantic foam for my car, that was like the huge thing that sat in the that sat in the front wheel well of the car. And so, yeah. And so, I was just feeling very hopeful when I went out there, but a little bit, trepidatious because I didn't have a job. I had just saved up my money. I didn't have anything besides this girl that I met, and it was just like, would call her on the phone a couple times. So I really had no idea. I mean, it was really a huge leap of faith. I had no idea who she really was. And then I just went out there and got an apartment with her. I mean, it was kind of crazy if you think back on it.
Did you get lucky? Because I didn't the few times I
Yeah.
took those leaps of faith.
Well, it depends. It depends on how you think of it, right? Like her dad was like, her stepfather was like a big partner at this huge law firm in LA and got me a job being the receptionist, part-time though. So I really wasn't making that kind of good money. And then through that, there was an attorney who went to Sony Music and asked me to be their assistant. So I moved over to Sony Music and had a full-time position because my dad always said, you have to have a fallback. You have to have a fallback, right? Which is one of those
Yeah,
things that I feel like in hindsight was not the best advice if you want to be an actor in LA because you really have to be hungry.
yeah.
You have to be hungry, you have to be hungry for it. And I got real comfy. I got real comfy
Yeah.
at Sony. So yeah.
But you know what strikes me the most about your story is that a lot of it really is the way you look at things, because you expected good things.
Mhm.
You saw them when they came. See, a lot of the law of attraction stuff is if you expect good things, you'll get good things. I think the difference is you expected them, so you recognized them when they were in front of you and could take advantage of them.
I just didn't know it at the time. But yeah, I mean, I think I tended to be a pretty optimistic person. Like I've always felt, after I got to LA, I felt like I actually found my place, like my home. Like that was the first time I felt like I was home.
Yeah.
And I just started to feel like I was just a really lucky person. I just felt really lucky. Like I've just always, since then, since I kind of found my like anchoring place, I just felt like I was lucky. And I feel like that's really kind of influenced a lot of the things that have happened to me, like you say, right?
Yeah, I've been thinking a lot about energy lately, and that's yeah, it's very good. I love that. Thank you. I will leave you with this. Told you, Nikki, didn't I? My favorite part of the journey, right here. Thank you very much. Amanda, you are up, so I can please mute Stephanie, and Amanda, please unmute and cough. Anybody coming on these calls think we're all sick of. Okay, Amanda. So we've left you here at this point of your life.
Mhm.
So far, nothing bad has happened. You haven't had any dark nights of the soul, and you're a shining bullet heading toward that news anchor job, and nothing's going to stop you. What stopped you?
I will. Well, two things stopped me. One was I was literally okay. One, politics were so fun when I graduated college. When I was in high school, going through college, like it was the Clinton Gore era of
Oh
the
yeah, that
president.
was fun.
It
It was
was
like
so
fun,
fun.
innocent gossip.
I mean, I loved it. I loved it. And so I got like really, involved, and I'd be toting around Tennessee with, I have a choice and the courage to care stickers and buttons all over my crap. And I was just getting involved in everything. Like I just loved it. And then I was reading my summer before my senior year of college. I'd already started to do a lot of the broadcasting and I've already done an internship at news stations and all that. And number one, I really didn't like broadcasting once I started getting into it because it was so, I felt like I should have been a model and I wasn't, but it was very critical, and it was very, was nothing about your voice. It was how you looked and how your hair was. And
To your face. Did they say that to
oh
your
yeah.
face?
Oh yeah.
Like, what would they say? I'm really
I mean,
curious.
professors, they just wanted to make it realistic in what I was getting into, and it was like,
Wow.
like I had a little gap between my teeth, and they said that I would need to get that fixed. My hair was curly back then, and they're like, well, that's not gonna
Have
ever
you seen the White Lotus girl? Have you seen the White Lotus girl, the British one? And
Mhm.
she's oh, I bet that pisses you off now, huh?
I mean, yeah, and now, like, always my big thing with looking at news anchors now is hair. Like, I always look at their hair. Like, their hair now is like long. They don't have, like, back when I was in college, like, it was a short, bob, and it was supposed to not be distracting at all when you were on camera doing the news. So I was already just a little bummed that I was not as confident as I was. And then I read this book. And then I read this book, and it was just a beach read. I don't even remember the name of it. I've been trying to find it ever since because it was just a silly little beach read, but it was about a really nosy reporter who basically took down the whole White House regime. And it was about her, she's supposed to be the star of the book, right? And I hated her so much. Like I was like, I wanted to be in the White House. I wanted to be that person. I wanted to be on that side of it versus being the nosy reporter over here that just would not leave things alone, And it
Yeah.
was just like one of those things. And at my senior year of college, I transferred my major from broadcasting to political science and was a minor in broadcast journalism.
I love the way you followed, because they say, don't they? If you feel jealous about something, that's because something in you is calling you to do it yourself. And I love the way your feelings towards her, you followed your gut. You followed that feeling in you saying, well, obviously I wouldn't be feeling this passionate about a woman in a book
And
love that.
politics were fun then too. So it was like I was kind of in this, make-believe fantasy land of all politicians are going to change the world for good.
I think without that fantasy land, we never would have done anything. Don't
I
you
know.
think that? Like, I wish I had a little bit of that fantasy. Like, you cringe at some of the things you thought and did when you were younger, but that kind of like was the reason we tried them, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
You can know too much.
And I wanted to be that person to change the world, wanted to do good and do.
So what happened?
Well, after that, I changed my focus to lobbying. I was going to be a lobbyist. That's what I wanted to do. So my plan was to graduate, go to law school, move to Nashville. I had a boyfriend then who's now my husband, but the politics were in Nashville. So that's where I was going to go after college. And then, I sort of along the lines with Steph, like I accepted the first job I got, and it was the crappiest job in America. And I couldn't say no because I didn't have a job. And, you had to have a job. So it was like, I kept on interviewing for these other things. And, I eventually had to kind of just put that on hold. And then I got a job, and then I got another job. And, it wasn't until I was in my 20s, my late 20s, that I finally started working nonprofit. So I felt like I was sort of in my lobbying age there, but it took a while.
Okay. And that segues perfectly, except I do want to do a quick comment. Kim says, just along this line, that's why I went into radio over TV. I don't like people telling me how to look and dress. Smart move. Smart. Okay, so I've got you here. I'm gonna hit you with the next question. I have no idea how old you guys are, for the record. I literally don't have a clue, so don't be offended if you're like still in your 20s or something.
22.
But 5 words for your 30s.
Oh gosh.
Could describe you, the way you felt, your job, the things you were
So
passionate
a lot of my 30s, when I turned 30, like I started working at the Heart Association, could not get pregnant. I had years of infertility. So when I was 30, I was very down. Like it was the worst birthday I've ever had. I felt like I had accomplished nothing. I hadn't done babies. I hadn't done the career I wanted. So it was really hard. And then I did get pregnant, and then my focus completely switched throughout my 30s. And my mom always makes fun of me that I keep on reinventing myself, but I really do. So, I mean, it's just, and then I decided to stay home a little bit with my babes, and then I had to find something else to do while I was at home with them. And this is how I kind of ended up here. But yeah.
Okay, so we've got depression, babies, career.
I mean, no, yes, the career took off, but then when the kids were like 4, I missed them too much. So they kind of, I wanted to be home with them until they started kindergarten.
So being a mom.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what did you love? Movies, books at the time?
Oh
Audiobooks
yeah.
listening? Yeah. Okay.
I'm a constant audiobook person. And when the kids were like babies, they were in those little bouncy seats at the bottom of the stairs. And I was reading Girl with the Dragon Tattoo out loud to them. It's like, they don't care. They just wanted to hear me. And I wanted to read. I was in the middle of a series,
I've
like,
seen the pictures of your kids hamming it up on social media. Now I thought they've got the acting, the performance in them. Thank you very much, Amanda. I'm going to ask you to please mute, and we are going to move to Stephanie. Stephanie, your 30s in 5 words, please. Except we've still not.
Okay, here I'm here. In 5 words. So, transitional, Switzerland, stay-at-home mom, perfectionist chaos. That would be
You
my
guys,
30s.
nobody's saying love. I thought you'd be diehard romantics here. Okay, so those are good ones. So how did it feel?
Something I never thought that I never had wanted to be a mother. I never thought I would be good at it. I was always a tomboy. I never babysat anything. Like
Wow.
maybe like a snake or like a guinea pig that probably died. Even though I loved animals, I wasn't like the best caregiver. So I was like, I should not be a mother. Um, and then something like biological happened to me, like in my late 20s, and I was like, oh, I could do this. And then I met, of course, the man who I'm still married to in LA.
Yeah.
And yeah, and so, honestly, it was one of those things that my mother always told me. If you can stay home with your kids the first 3 years of their life, do it. It will be something that you will never regret. And I have to say that she was absolutely 100% right. Now, for me, it was extremely stressful because I am a perfectionist. So I wanted to be like the perfect mother. So I was, I mean, I did the best I could.
Oh,
I was, I was,
that's a rabbit hole of possibilities of
oh,
being a perfectionist and a mother at the same time.
yeah, it was hard. And then being here with no real support system, just, a couple women that I had met who ended up being my lifelong friends, but like also like no mother. Like my mother-in-law was wonderful to me and she was sweet, but it's not the same as having your own mom around when you have kids. So it was really difficult. It was really, really difficult in that sense. Um, yeah, and it was a struggle. We were just starting out and my husband had been in LA with me, so we didn't have a job, and so we had to come back. We came to Switzerland to basically have my first son, and then had to go from there. So we really came from nothing and started with nothing, and ended up the first 5 years basically in a one-bedroom apartment with two kids, two boys, and trying to make things work. And it was full of love. It's true, but it had its stressful moments too, for sure.
Yeah, but you could do worse than have a mom that's strong and brave and resilient and follows your dreams. You can do worse
Yes.
than that.
I guess.
So, yep, you can, any one of the three of you, you couldn't find a better mom. Just from
Aw.
what we all know about you guys, the energy, the personality, the drive. I think those are good things for kids to be able to model from their mothers. See, and setting an example.
Yeah.
I love that.
I had a strong mother who really just, single mom who did everything for us, and so it was a good, oh my God, I'm thinking in German. It's so bad. Oh my
I love
God,
that.
my
I love
brain is
that.
fried.
I'm gutted that we missed her. Your mom was supposed to be on here. I think we
Oh
got to
yeah.
her too late. Um, but yeah, I'm gutted that we missed her. Okay, I'm going to leave you with this. Thank you so much, Stephanie. I'm going to move to Nikki, please. Same question. Your 30s
Okay.
in 5 words. And Stephanie, if you can please mute.
Okay.
Oh, you are
So,
muted. Nikki, cough. Wonderful. Okay, 30s in 5 words.
I mean, it's easy. It's kid
Got to move
number
you closer to the
one,
mic.
kid number one, kid number two, kid number three, family and chaos, like Stephanie. I mean, I had 3 kids in 4 years. I mean, 1, 2, 3. So like, my 30s are a blur, basically.
And did I read right that you fostered kids as well?
That would be my 40s. Are we going to go there?
Oh,
Yes.
wow. Okay. And when did you start fostering animals as well?
Well, so we started fostering animals when my youngest, she was about 5, because I wanted her to be old enough to have strange animals in the house and understand rules and stuff like that. So we started with Labradors because we got big dogs, and I was like a vice president of a Labrador rescue. So we did that for years. And of course, we had a few foster fails. And so at one point, we had 3 Labradors. And then, so we started with that. And then at some point, my kids got old and I didn't know what to do. I tried to go back to teaching. And at that point, I kind of didn't want to be around kids all day anymore. I had been around kids so much all the time that I was like, I tried it and I was like, I can't. So just raising 3 kids was tough. And then we got to a point where we were trying to decide if we wanted to have a 4th kid and we were thinking about adopting. And my husband really that wasn't his path. And we had talked about that early on when we got married. So it was not like a surprise or anything. And then we just decided that we would foster. We became foster parents because we were like, that's just something we could do. It's not forever, but we can make an impact on some lives. So we did.
Are they
And because
older children or?
because I was a stay-at-home mom, we actually got infants. And I basically got the infants from the hospital. Like I would go pick them up, like brand new.
Did it not break your heart when you had to give them up?
I mean, obviously, yes. But I mean, the best thing that I always told people who asked me that question, and I feel like really did happen, was like I gave a really good start to these kids. The first 6 months of their lives, if they are learning to bond and getting that connection, where a lot of kids don't in those circumstances, it will change their life forever. And I know that from I did have a few kids that were older, anywhere from 8 months to 2 years, that hadn't had that chance to bond with an adult. And you can really see the difference in their life, like their behavior and their emotional intelligence is all very. Anyway, we did that, and we did it for 6 years. And we had many opportunities to adopt the infants that did not have a family to go to, but we didn't go into it for that, so we ended up not doing that. But I still have relationships. One of them is my goddaughter, and it was definitely worthwhile and fulfilling and really, really good for my kids, which I didn't really understand the impact of that until now. My children are young adults and they talk to me about it. And so it did make an impact on their lives. And I never frosted anything with them. My kids, my biological kids, came with me to everything that I did with those foster kids. So they went, to the WIC office to get the food stamps, and they went to the courthouse when I had to go meet the biological parents. My kids saw it all. So I never realized that it impacted them, but it did impact them. At least they tell me
Oh,
that
it
now.
had
So,
to. Oh, it had
yeah.
to. That's amazing. So that must have been a very profound time of your life.
Oh, it was.
Profound.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good place to cap that question with. And since I've got you here, I'm gonna hit you with the next question.
Okay.
It might be a jump a little bit of time, but
That's okay.
I want you to put yourself back to the minute you felt and identified to yourself as an audiobook narrator. Like it could have been triggered by anything, but what triggered it? What was the feeling like? And
where I started the very beginning, or when
you know,
I actually felt like I was a narrator.
Yeah, the minute you thought, I remember clearly, I thought, I am an audiobook narrator. I literally thought that. And I from that moment on, I was like, I am an audiobook narrator. I was really proud of myself. Somebody had given me a book or something. It was like my 3rd book. And I thought, oh, wow, I am an audiobook narrator. So then it's the whole, when did you get your first book? And it's kind of boring because we've all heard it. We've all said it.
Yeah.
When is the moment? Because when you get a book, you still think it could be a hobby. I'm a newbie. It doesn't count. When was the minute you became an audiobook narrator?
Don't believe when I get a book. I'm still I still can't believe I get a book today. Seriously. I don't think I've hit that point, to be honest with you.
But
I mean, I'm grateful.
There had to be a moment that you kind of felt it in your body that that's who you are.
I mean, I guess it probably was when I landed my first book, that I felt like my first book that I felt was like a real book, not like an ACX fraud book, which I think I did a couple of those first before I got a real book from a real author.
19-minute book on keto.
Yeah. Mine was on intermittent fasting though, but
Oh,
yes.
yeah. I always wanted one of those scam ones. I always got the Bitcoin scam. And I always wanted a fasting ones. Maybe I could learn something from.
No, my first real book was given to me by a Christian author. And I mean, I'm not Christian. I mean, I'm non-practicing. I'm more of a spiritual person, but
Had you auditioned for it?
I did. I auditioned for it on ACX, and she gave me her whole series. So I guess that would probably be, it was 6-book series, and they were just these very sweet, very well written Christian fiction stories, like a series of 6 books. And they were for
How
a
did it
royalty
feel?
share, which was fine because, they were books. And
Yeah. How did it feel? How did you
it
feel?
felt amazing, and they were
Yeah.
good covers and a great collaboration. And we still have a relationship to this day. I've done more than that series for her. So that was probably when I felt like a real.
Did you start telling people you were an audiobook narrator?
No, I never really no, I mean, you guys, I'm sure you've experienced this. Like, none of my family has ever listened to any of my audiobooks. None of my children have ever listened, and my children are adults, so you would think, have ever listened to any of my audiobooks. I've had some friends, some close friends who I gave like the free things to in the beginning, but no, like.
Well, that's good because I did this disturbing thing for an embarrassing amount of years. Whereas, like, the guy would deliver the groceries and I would find a way to work it into conversation. Oh, because I'm an audiobook narrator. I've had to stop because I'm an audiobook. Not only do they not care one way or another over here, but the guy delivering the groceries couldn't care. I mean, the
I find
cab driver.
who is most fascinated by it, which I love, is like the dental assistant, or they'll be cleaning my teeth and they'll be like, what do you do for a living? And then I'll tell them, and they're like, oh my God, that's so cool and so interesting.
Doctors
Yeah,
offering them free books.
those are the people who I think find it, the best.
I love that because, we're proud of it. I love that. Thank you very much, Nikki. I will catch you on the other side. We're going to try something different this time because I realize Stephanie's been in the middle every single time. So I'm going to throw Amanda in. Amanda. If you please. Yes, wonderful, perfect. Can you please tell me the moment you felt in your bones that you were an audiobook narrator?
Okay, well, I am a self-deprecating person in real life. So I just like I can't believe that I do this. It's crazy to me. Like, it's just crazy to me. So I've got 2 things I'm going to say real quick. One, I have a tattoo that I will get when if I ever get an Audie nomination. So I feel like I've not made it until that happens. Period.
Are you going to move the goalpost though?
No.
Okay, so when that happens, you will be happy.
But I also have my other answer is when we were presenting at VO Atlanta. That was the fact that they wanted me to teach other people how to do this when I felt like I was very new myself. And we were respected and kind of known in the industry.
Did they send
I had
you
no
an
idea.
email? How did you get the invitation?
I think we just applied for it and we just got it. And we did it for the next 2 years. So it was, and we were the new narrator group that presented to new narrators. So I just felt like at that point,
that's a huge deal.
Maybe I knew it. Maybe we knew what we were talking about. I don't know.
Were you proud of yourself? I think sometimes we don't let ourselves be proud of ourselves. You should have been. Were you proud of yourself?
Yeah. Yeah. I think it was the 3 of us. And I think we were, and we had a really good time. And I feel like we embraced that we're in this industry and people know who we are and kind of respect us. So, yeah.
People want to hear what you have to say.
Mm-hmm.
Do you tell people you're an audiobook narrator?
I do now.
Yeah. I
But
love it.
only, but only recently. Only if they can find a book in a bookstore that I have absolutely narrated. Other than that, it's like, so
Oh
yes.
yeah, I tell everyone. I don't shut up about it. They don't even want to know. Okay, thank you so much, Amanda. We'll catch you on the other side. Stephanie,
Okay, sorry.
the minute
Um,
you felt it in your bones that you were an audiobook narrator, because you did other things already. You were already a voiceover artist and all this stuff. But when is the moment you identified as an audiobook narrator?
I've been thinking about this since you've asked it to the other two already, and I think that, I mean, I don't want to say it was my Audie nomination because I feel like it was a little bit before that, but because that was such a huge surprise, and I must have felt it because I threw myself at threw myself in the mix for that. And it was like, I think it was really, if I think about it, I think it was when Natalie Naudis, who was so much further ahead than me,
It was
had
Natalie, not it. I mean, she's
it's
like,
Natalie Naudis.
yeah.
This was like 3 years, but it was like 3 years ago. And she goes, so, or maybe 4 years ago, she goes, we were on Discord, right? Because that's how I met her and Marnie. We were all on Discord together, and Mandy. And she was like, why are you who are you with? Like what publishers are you with or whatever? And I was like, nobody. She was like, what? I go, well, I only have like 50 books. And she was like, what? What? You know, you need to write an email to Eric Black at Dreamscape and let him know that I said that he should put you on the roster. And so that her believing in me,
Yeah.
her kind of validation then made me feel confident enough to reach out to Eric at Dreamscape. And then I got my first book with them like 3 months later.
This segues perfectly into the next
Mhm.
question.
All right.
And you guys might not like this question. And I'm asking you to be brave.
Oh, God.
Okay. So
Hit me.
these days, nobody wants to be full of themselves. No, people find it hard. And when we do, sing our own praises, we do them in a very marketable, branding way. I'm going to ask you to pretend that you're looking at yourself, that you're a friend, and I want you to tell me the most wonderful things about Stephanie. What makes her different than everyone else and great for this job, and the something amazing about Stephanie.
Oh my God. That is horrible. That is a horrible question to ask of me.
Can we
I
just say it
literally,
about each other?
yeah, because I literally
Nope, nope,
I had
it's
a
got it's
breakdown.
easy to we do it about each
Oh my
other
God.
all the time.
I
It's
had a
got to be
breakdown
about you.
yesterday about being horrible and that I suck and like I like didn't get a gigantic book that I was up for and that I wanted so badly, and it's just like I felt, I mean, yesterday.
But that's my
So
point.
I'm
We all do it. I looked up someone that won the audition for the book I wanted today, and that person is not all of me.
yeah.
There's a big part of us that loves us, but we never
Okay,
let
I'll
them
tell you about
talk.
I'll tell you the thing about myself that I feel like that I know that I really try to do is I try to help other people.
Say
Or and
it,
I
say it in
try
the third person. Stephanie,
so
you're the
Stephanie
friend.
really goes out of her way to help other people to shine, to make connections, to be noticed. That's what she does.
Why does everyone love Stephanie so much? What is it about Stephanie that everyone loves?
That I don't know.
What
That
have
I
people
don't know.
told you? Somebody's told you. They've told you.
No, I don't know. Not really. I mean, of course, like my friends, like they, but there's nothing like I don't know. It's,
Break the barrier. What do your friends love about you? Break the barrier because
I
we're
don't
so worried
know.
about being full. And full on. I will do it about myself afterwards. I promise you guys.
Okay. You know what they say about me that I am really good at drinking margaritas,
I'll take that. That's a
right?
good one. I'll take that. And can I add, you have an underlying power in your energy, and you are so generous with it that anyone that has a conversation with you walks away feeling that we are also that powerful and capable.
Ooh, I hope so. I
You
hope
give
so.
that gift to all of us. So
Thank
just
you.
to have that
Oh,
little
that's
tidbit.
nice. Thank
Thank
you.
you, Stephanie. Amanda. Stephanie, please mute. Amanda.
Okay, I was looking up a word that I was going to give myself a compliment on something, but I don't know the word for it. So that's not good.
And it's third person, so it's
Oh,
Amanda
Mandy.
is.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay,
Amanda
Amanda.
is.
She is very funny. She is kind.
Yeah.
Hope nobody never tells me I'm not kind. And then this word for that I'm looking at, but it's not, it's perceptive. But what I mean is like, I'm really good at figuring things out and self-teaching myself and not getting help from anybody. Yeah. I mean, Stephanie's like, yeah, no, like I will figure things out. I'll figure out a way. That's my thing at home. Like mom will fix everything. I can fix anything. Like I'll figure it out.
I see what you mean about the word. There is a word for that. I
I
can't
know.
tell what it is.
But that's totally me. I'm very good at that. I just needed 3, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, it didn't even have to be 3. It had to be heartfelt. And I'm going to add this. You have this weird talent, and I also can't put a word to it, but I've said this about you behind your back. Well, I've said this about you when describing you to people, not behind your back, obviously. You've got this thing with social media that we all try to get on social media and be authentic and be this and be that, but you literally somehow shine through on social media. Like I've had people that like barely even know you. Oh my God, there's that girl that you've got a way of showing up authentically with no barriers. Like you literally leap through the whole digital field, and that's like superstar. That's like influencer level. And no, we're all people that don't know you have said, and who was it? Even just the other day, Karen Cummins, she won't mind me saying this, was like blown away singing your praises because of something you'd done with like some awards and outfits. And you're on mute, by the way.
I know, because my
You
dog
muted
was
yourself.
barking. I didn't want it to be in the. She's better
Yeah,
now. Yes.
but it happens all the time. And I don't know if you realize that's your superpower, but you have a serious superpower with that could be marketed, bottled, and sold for $1 million. I mean, the only other person, and you will get this, that has this,
Like no.
I know you'll take this as a compliment. The only other person I know that could do this was, and I know you'll take this as a compliment, or I wouldn't say it, is Richard Simmons. Do you know how he got that? Like, because you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He showed up and he was there and we loved him for it. Right? You've
Yeah.
got the Richard Simmons element there. So just leaving it there.
It's a compliment. Thank
We're
you.
jumping to Nikki now. Thank you very much, Amanda. Nikki, cough for me. There must be a better way to do that. I'm sure professional podcasters have like a very, okay, close to the mic.
Okay.
Because I want to hear this one. Tell me in third person, what is amazing about Nikki?
I mean, I feel like they said everything already that I was going to say, but Nikki is a genuine person, a loyal person, a kind person, a giving person. I mean, I don't know if any of that has to do with narration, but I mean, I just feel that describes me, and that's what I've been told.
It's, and do you feel it? You feel that about yourself, don't you?
I do. It's exhausting sometimes, but I do.
Because jokingly before the call, I said that you were the Greta Garbo
Yeah.
of narration. But all jokes aside, there is something to that. Because you have this, you're the friend that everyone loves, but you don't say, you don't put yourself out there. You don't ask for it. your talent walks in the room first. And I think in the promo in the video, I don't know if I put it, your talent and your heart. And I think those are two massive, massive things. And sometimes people that are quiet and that don't put themselves, don't hear that maybe as much as they should. How appreciated that is by everyone.
Thank you.
So yeah, wow. Okay. Very good one. That was the easy one.
Oh no.
Before I hit you with the last question, and really, really stick to literally just 5 words on this one, okay?
Okay.
Actually, I have a 2-part question. Answer the 5 words at the very end of the answer, and then I will let you guys off the hook. The first part is, if anybody is doubting themselves or worried or doesn't know where they are in the industry or new or feels like, a fraud and they don't know what they're doing, can you please give them, and this is going to be different for each one of you. They don't know what they're doing. They don't have the confidence. They don't know how to reach out to people. They don't know where they are in the industry or if they'll ever measure up. Can you please give our dear reader a piece of advice? And then also, to top that off, after you've given them advice, in 5 words, describe the rest of your life.
Okay. That's not hard. My dogs are barking.
So just a couple of easy ones to end the call with.
Okay, well, my advice is what I tell to anybody starting out in this industry is that it's a slow walk or a long walk. There's no way it's quick to the top in this industry. So do it at your own pace. Everybody has their own story and their own path to tell. Be part of the community, because that is the way you learn things and that is the way you grow. And you can do that, like, as you see with the 3 of us, at all different levels. Like, I am not as involved on social media. I am the quiet one, but I have my girls. We are accountability partners, best friends, constantly there for each other. But then, and all of us have other narrator friends as well. So it's like you have to be part of the community, or I don't think you will make it in this industry, because that's where you learn everything. So that would be my advice.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
5 words for the rest of my life would be, oh my goodness. I have to give back. So giving back. It is really hard. Being a parent, I mean, I feel I'm always parenting all the time, and my kids are adults.
That's good. I love it because it's just you're picturing the things you want. I mean, if it's a yellow Corvette, do you know what I mean? It's like, what do you envision? So giving back, parenting, those are good.
My friends, like good friend relationships. My animals, I'm a huge animal, as you can see. My daughter's cat back there, my dogs. I mean, animals are a huge part of my life. Could not have, that was 4, right? And then family. I mean, those are the important things for me.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Nikki. You are a superstar. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Daniela.
That's
for having me.
wonderful. Perfect. Thank you. Okay. I am going to please call up Stephanie.
Okay.
Okay. So we've got a reader question for you first, and then the 5 words to describe the rest of your life. So, Stephanie, what do you say to our reader who, and there's no reader, but I really like the sound of it. It's very Bridgerton. So what do you say to our reader who has not booked a job for 5 months? They don't know what to do. They have had a couple of jobs with one publisher once, but they're sending auditions and they don't know what to do. And it looks to them like everyone else is booking work constantly. What do they do? Should they quit? What should they do?
I mean, it's going to go along with what Nikki said exactly. I mean, having Nikki and Mandy as my accountability partners, Nikki in the very beginning, it just changed everything because you literally have a sounding board, someone who is going through the same thing, and you need someone who is at your level, who's around the same level that you are, either just starting out, even if they have a few more books than you or a few less. Because you kind of empower each other to ask the questions, to figure out what's wrong, what's happening. I think it's a situation that you described. I think someone is a decent narrator, but there are just so many ways you can grow. So you have to find people who you can befriend, who are further along on the journey than you are, that you could ask for feedback and be open to that feedback. Because a lot of people, they think they want the feedback, but they just want someone to tell them that they're doing a great job and that everything will change. And that's usually what you've described is not the case. They're not as far along as they think that they are, and they do need to invest into whatever it is whatever the feedback is that they get, either slowing down or making their character voices better or men better or whatever. Um, just be open to feedback from people that you respect and that you trust and who have been in the community for a while and who know what they're talking about. I mean, of course, there are coaches and there are classes you can take. And again, through recommendations from people in the community, you will find those people. So all of those things, I mean, accountability is huge, I think, and community is huge. But I think if you're not really sure, like I've told people who are new or starting out, like send me your sample. I'll listen to it. I will tell you what I hear. No charge. I don't coach. I don't do anything like that, but I will listen to a 5-minute sample, 3-minute sample, right? Like just to give you kind of what I hear, what's going on. And, I've had a couple people do that. A couple people send 29-minute chapters. And I'm like, don't have to send that. I can tell you, like, it's like a sample of the book.
Yeah.
In the first 30 seconds, 2 minutes,
First two sentences.
yeah, like kind of in what direction maybe they need to focus or what can they, I mean, I am always learning. I'm always trying to get better and listening back to auditions and, asking people's opinion and, people that I trust and who I value their feedback. Right. So I always want to get better. I'm constantly learning, but
Nice.
that's me. I'm a perfectionist. So that's also probably messes with my head half the time too. So
No, that's all of us. You stop
Yeah.
learning, you think you know it all in this industry. You're not going to book. Other people are going to go right. There's a lot of competition.
Yeah.
We love each other, but there's competition. You can't sit still.
100%. And again, like I love what Nikki said about not everybody's journey is your journey. So
Yeah.
don't compare yourself to other people. Don't. It does nothing. It does nothing for you except make you feel bad about yourself and where you are. And it has nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do with your journey because it's just it's not your journey. And you got to just, like, again, like I had my friends telling me when I did not get the book that I wanted, it wasn't your book, Stephanie. Something else will come along and that will be what you're supposed to do. And I'm like, oh, you're right.
Yeah,
You're
I
right.
looked
They're
that
absolutely
person
right.
I looked up that got my book.
Yeah.
They sound better. They sound more like the part. They do, if I'm honest.
Listen, I've been dying to narrate for T. Kingfisher. Love her stuff. Big fantasy writer. Love her, love her, love her. And I begged to audition for this book. Got the audition, did the audition, sent the audition in, and realized because I had heard Jennifer Wren Pickens, and there's another narrator who did her last book together. It was like a dual narration, two women. And Jennifer was so amazing for her parts, like the one that I mean,
Yeah.
both narrators were great. But I just felt like when she got that book that I auditioned for, I just knew I knew already that that was probably her voice. And and it just confirmed that that was the voice that she had. And so we're so different, right? Like we're just absolutely nothing alike. So it's like that person was meant to get that book because that's was meant to be.
The books we got, somebody else wanted. The book somebody else
Exactly.
wanted. And
Right.
also, if it wasn't the right book for you, it would be hell. But
Right.
you wouldn't sound, and the audition I did, I listened to other people that I thought was what they were looking for, so I could try to make myself sound like that. But why are you doing that? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's the book that I'm going to do the audition in. I'm the person. I know, and they know. 5 words, Stephanie.
Oh God.
The rest of your life. 5 words that describe the rest of your life.
Travel,
Travel.
family, friends, LA. Family, travel, friends, LA. Contentment.
Oh, that's a good word. That's a very good word. Thank you so much for joining us. This has been more
Thank you for
fun
having
than
me.
should be legal. So thank you very much, Stephanie. And Amanda.
I love that she's in her car to
I know,
end
where
this.
are you taking us?
So Mandy. It's so Mandy.
Always in her car. Always.
Oh,
sorry.
hello. Okay, so I've got a reader question for you.
Okay.
I've been told that there are other ways to get jobs and that sometimes you can reach out to writers. I've tried that, and they either hate me, ignore me, or they're a big waste of time and they don't like me. What am I doing wrong? Why can't I get any traction with reaching out to people to try to take control of my career?
Are we supposed to answer like this is what they need to do, or are we supposed to just be like positive and like
Give them advice.
keep going?
Yeah, give them advice. What should they? Well, don't not just keep going, because what are they
Okay,
doing something wrong? So
she's making her or he. They're making their emails too wordy. They're referring the person off of the email, like to go look at this and go look at the sites and go look at my website and go listen to my samples. They need to have, they need to be on Amazon and pulling up the previews for their books and reading 1 to 2 minutes from the first couple pages and attaching that to the email so that the author already has something in their head with their voice on it that they've written already in that voice.
oh, that's a master class right there. So is it a numbers game, or is it only
Yeah,
send it to people that you love, or send it to a whole bunch of people?
Well, I'm my girls know I'm a big book researcher and I look up books for years in advance and past books, and I'm constantly. So I tend to stick to genres. So if like I'm doing that reach out for a thriller book, I will find 5 other thriller books so that I'm going quickly and I'm reading 1 to 2 minutes of 5 thrillers. So I'm kind of in that zone. And then the next time I do it, I might do 5 rom-coms so that I'm not switching genres and I can quickly just, it's a cold call. So yeah.
And you send them emails, and then do you follow up if you don't hear back?
Sometimes I do if it's something I really wanted. Usually I just see if they bite, I mean, there's been several authors that have befriended me on Instagram and we talk and everything, but she's just, they're just not ready to get an audio or at least introduce them to audio to where then they found somebody else that they wanted. So, just
So
I want
what
them
I'm
to
hearing,
know that
for the dear reader is they're taking it too personally, probably agonizing over each email, and you're systematized.
well, I mean, it's expensive and it's a big decision that they know nothing about. And it's like usually, you've got to be prepared to walk them through the whole process of it, even if they said that they're interested. It's a big commitment. It's a big jump. So yeah, I'm sending out a friendly, hi.
Wonderful. So we will send that off to the reader. I love that. I should do a Bridgerton call. Okay. Mandy, the rest of your life in 5 words, please.
Oh,
You have to say kids because you've got one in the car.
I know
They
I
will
do.
be offended. Hi.
Hey. So, the next 5 years will be high school. I mean, high school kids. 5 years, right? Or rest of my life. What was I supposed to do?
Rest of 5 words that
Oh,
describe
5
the rest
words.
of your life.
Oh, okay. Travel. Aging. Health. Happiness. Family. Oh, and work. 5, 6.
Well, get rid of aging. Get rid of aging and put work in there. Skip
I
the
can't
aging
count.
part.
That's why I read books. I'm not good at math.
Not enough words. Thank you so much. You are a superstar. Thank you so much.
You are a superstar. I cannot tell you how much I've loved being on here with my favorite people in the world, and it's been awesome. Thank you for
This
doing that.
call is going to help so many people. If you put together the power and strength of the 3 of you into 1 hour, people are going to soar just from your energy and your enthusiasm and your positivity alone. So what you give to the rest of this community, there aren't enough words to describe it. The enthusiasm when they saw that you were all 3 on a call together was just over the moon.
Is it you, Nikki, and Steph?
And you can tell, I'm going to call Steph out real quick because she was kind of like tired and depressed, and she didn't get a book yesterday. And I've seen her happiness like soar throughout this whole call. Once you've made her call out how good she is, call out over things. So these are awesome. They're so awesome.
I think we should do it. I think we should do it as a regular practice. And I challenge everyone out there. Talk to yourself in the 3rd person and tell yourself what you love about yourself. It's hard in the 1st person because we've got our old script we follow. But when's the last time you told yourself? Because, we're amazing. We are seriously frigging amazing. Let's just say it out loud.
Yeah.
You're all amazing.
Yes,
I'm just lucky to be here with you
I
guys.
know.
Okay, now before we get tearful, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart, you guys. This call was everything. And a big shout out to Jonathan and Kim, superstars, and Amanda's gorgeous kid, and superstar as well. Thank you so much, you guys. Mwah! I'll see you on the other end.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.